One of the highlights for me at this year's Cable Congress was the opportunity to sit down with James Currell, the president of Viacom for UK and many parts of Europe. We had the opportunity to speak about the hundreds of channels that he manages in many territories and the opportunities for growth in maturing but fragmenting markets. Here are some of the highlights. What are the challenges that are facing you across all of your businesses here in Europe?
Well, I have a broad geographic spread, don't I? So UK, Northern and Eastern Europe, and it's really interesting listening to the last presentation and all of the statistics. But across that geographic spread, the digital disruption is at various different stages. It's very interesting. So we've got the Nordics, where very advanced, I'm not sure if anybody here from the Nordics, but a very advanced television market, where certainly SVOD viewing has overtaken linear amongst the youngs. The viewing there amongst youngs is predominantly video on demand now. To the UK, where despite all of the hype and the news, still 85% of viewing is either linear or time shifted. And then other parts of our region, like Poland and Russia, where linear still reigns, and they're at a different stage. It's very interesting. The digital disruption that I face and the way that we address our business in different markets is quite varied. So how are you going to create growth in a lot of these areas that are already mature? Well, we've had to, given our brands start at preschool and go through to young adults and to broader adults, in our younger age range, we've been dealing with digital disruption probably before many of our other competitors. So I think what we were saying as we were prepping for coming for this, that we've probably been dealing with digital disruption in various forms for 10 years and having to evolve our business model to adapt to that. And it's really being flexible and being slick and constantly evolving our strategies, both commercially and also in content. So if you start with sort of Nick Jr., Nickelodeon, into your MTVs, into your VH1s, you have kind of quite a high churn rate through those channels. But now you've got, in the UK, Channel 5, that's now bedding in as one of the family members. You kind of want to keep those people there. So how are you going to move people up and then exploit? Yes, we like to say in the ideal world, in the laboratory, people come in when they're in their nappies to Nick Jr. and they stay with us through their life cycle, and they just watch nothing but Nickelodeon, MTV, Comedy Central, and then Channel 5. It probably doesn't work quite that efficiently, but yeah, I think there is a great Channel 5 in the UK has been a real big step forward for Viacom. And probably for many people in this room who are on pay TV platforms, you kind of go, well, that's kind of, where's Viacom's focus going to be? Is it going to be on free TV or pay TV? I'm pleased to say that 4 years in, it's been a massive success, and I think the success we've had on 5 has also lifted the pay brands. I think there's been real synergy across the piece, and all of the channels have lifted. Why is that? There's a little bit of content sharing back and forth. I think there are bigger conversations with program suppliers and with our commercial partners. There's cross-promotion, which has helped move audiences between brands. But I'm pleased to say last year was tremendous. Like, all of our pay brands grew and achieved pretty much in the UK, pretty much their best ever shares of viewing, along with Channel 5. So it's been really better than I could possibly have hoped. So you've got this fragmentation across all viewing habits. It's more about screens as opposed to the big screen. So how are your channels sort of taking that, and where do you see that as an impact on your revenues going forward? Well, I'm keen to say that amongst, there are now many other places, many in the multi-platform world, there are many places where our content can end up, many platforms, but I'm pleased to say that our focus still remains on our traditional pay TV partners. And we believe in the pay TV bundle. It's good for our business model, and we think it offers great value for money for the consumer. And so our main focus is supporting the people in this room and their colleagues out there in the industry to support the value of the bundle. And we do that in various ways, being very flexible about the rights that we offer to content, so that give our partners the ability to offer flexible access to our content to their consumers. We're also helping to build out our partners' consumer offerings with some digital products. We have video on demand applications, which we offer on an authenticated basis. We have some set-top box applications to help support the value and allow our partners to gain deeper engagement with their subscribers. So that's our priority, and it's been working out.
You've got Paramount Plus in the Nordics. Why did you do that through your partners instead of doing a direct-to-consumer offering?
Yes, we really did something in the Nordics there, which I think could be a model for other parts of Viacom. And it's something that we launched just last year in the Nordics, and it's a product that's been taken up by almost all of our partners in the region. I think it's terrific. So for those of you who don't know, Paramount Plus is a set-top box application that for the first time brings together all of Viacom brands in one place, including Paramount the studio. So it offers, it's positioned in a higher tier to subscribers, and it offers subscribers access to Paramount movies in the first window, plus the Paramount library, plus VOD content from all of the pay brands, all of the adult pay brands, Comedy Central and MTV. And it's really been terrific, and it's driven great take-up for our partners. I think they're really pleased.
Does that mean that Paramount becomes your sort of halo brand, and if you exploit that in other territories, that you just bundle everything else underneath it? So maybe My5 in the UK, your Comedy Centrals, your Nick, it all goes under one umbrella.
I don't think we're there. I think the application of Paramount Plus will depend and vary from region to region. It's certainly a neat idea. It's worked in the Nordics. It's kind of a pilot project there, but I think that kind of offering to the consumer and bundling our adult brands under Paramount Plus is something we hopefully will see in other markets. And indeed, there should be, in addition to being a set-top box application, that should also be a standalone mobile application too that our partners can enjoy.
So Bob Backish, your overall boss, announcing OTT services for later in the year. What do you think that means in your territories? What do you think is it going to be done differently in the States, or what?
Well, we've been, as I said, our priority, and it's been good for us, and I hope it's been good for our partners, is to focus on traditional pay TV partners and to support them in their offerings. But of course, there are many other ways now in the multi-platform world to distribute our content, and we have been taking advantage of that. So we do some deals with the global OTT players. We do a lot of deals with local OTT players. We're increasingly interested in supporting mobile network operators as they try to build out a pay TV offering. And yeah, in some parts of the world, we are experimenting with D2C, but it's we're experimenting and taking some learnings from that. But in our region, the biggest place that we do that with is with an AVOD application, My5, which is Channel 5's advertising-supported VOD platform. I think it's an imperative that a free-to-air broadcaster has such an application, and we're certainly very interested in seeing how big that can be. That's in AVOD. And in other parts of the world, in Latin America, we have a Noggin, which is a preschool application, D2C. And as I say, taking the learnings.
Picking up on what Ted was talking about in terms of content production, that seems to be something that you're focusing on. You might have fallen behind the likes of Netflix. How big is content for you? Are you going to do an ITV and start getting much bigger in that area? It's
absolutely critical, and I think it's been one of our sources of success as we've navigated digital disruption, I say, for the last 10 years. I think in the international world, in the international world of Viacom, you've seen a real shift and a positive shift in content. Now, 10 years ago, the international Viacom would have been principally taking US pipeline content. And the situation is very different today. That content from the US is still critically important and the backbone for the likes of MTV or Comedy Central or Nickelodeon, particularly Nickelodeon. So we exploit the value of shows like Paw Patrol for Nick Jr. Or South Park for Comedy Central. Critical to what international is and critical for our growth and our success, but also now we're producing our own content. We realize in every market that we go to that people like stories about them, So in the UK, our audience is, like most, stories about people from the British Isles. And we've responded to that, so that we're investing about $1 billion a year outside of the US on content origination, about 8,000 hours. And And that's proven a successful strategy in the last few years. And building further on that, our big broadcast investments in Channel 5 in the UK and Telefe in Argentina and Colours in India is kind of accelerating that. Now, certainly we're getting into a whole different level of local content spend. And those are big commissioners and big producers of content that can help both their channel, but hopefully the wider network.
You dodged an earlier question about...
I dodged it?
Yeah, about revenue model and where is your revenue going to come from? You've obviously got advertising as a big source. We've just touched on more content creation. You've got Elephant House as a content creation. But you've also got branding and live events. So where do you see this sort of pie chart of where your money's going to come from in, say, 2-3 years' time?
I think it's going to be a mixed ecology. We have, you're right, so advertising and pay TV subscriptions have been our backbone, and will be in the future. You know, we like the double revenue stream model, and that will be the focus going forward, no doubt. With those pay TV subscriptions coming in a different pattern to the way they were before. But we're really pleased that we built out this other thing that we do, build out this real-world engagement with our audiences, and have done that successfully over really each of our brands, including Channel 5. So, again, if you roll back 10 years ago, we did some consumer products around some Nickelodeon properties, but today, our real-world engagement with our audiences is much broader. So we've got consumer products licensing for Nickelodeon still, but we now do increasingly large number of commercial live events for all of our brands. So MTV has the music events, Nickelodeon has Slimefest and the KCAs, Comedy Central has Friends Fest in the UK and other live comedy festivals in other parts of the world. And even Channel 5, we have the Yorkshire Bet Live. So we're building out live events, engaging with our audiences, and beyond that, we have hotel deals for Nickelodeon, and we have various recreation investments too, or partnerships with theme parks, themed Nickelodeon lands, and mall entertainment centres. So that's a small but growing part of our business. And
where would you like to see that be?
It's hard to say. I think that it serves two purposes. It's commercially successful, but also, and critically, it makes us a little bit unique. I was thinking around other portfolios of channels. You know, we do that probably better than many others, and it's an interesting part of our business and really drives a halo back to our core. And I think it's helpful to our partners as well, that we have that real-world engagement, that deep engagement with our audiences around our brands and our show properties. And I think that, whilst it's a helpful and useful and profitable commercial endeavour, and one we hope to grow steadily, I think it's critically important to drive back to the core and support our partners.
James Currell, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm James Wright. Thanks for watching Marketing, Media, Money. To check out more online videos, just click on the boxes and don't forget to subscribe to the CNBC Live channel at the bottom of the screen.